Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Duncan White. I'm Managing Editor of International Fire and Safety Journal. I'm delighted to be at the NFPA Conference and Expo here in Las Vegas, and it gives me great pleasure to be chatting to my old friend Jim from Telgian. Nice to see you, my friend.
Nice to see you again, my friend.
Jim and I have shared some stories over the years. It's been some great fun. There's always some great banter, and the conversation normally gets round to fly fishing or some other form of outdoor sport. So, Jim, unfortunately we've been told we can't talk about sport and recreation. We need to concentrate on business today, but I'm sure we'll go around there.
So we can't talk about Ted Lasso or anything like that. So.
We could do Ted Lasso, but I think that will be a series for the future.
Okay, all right.
You've been a big supporter of NFPA. I've seen you here all the years. Why is NFPA so important to you and the things that Telgian are doing?
So NFPA, as you know, member-driven organization, really has the world-class standard in setting building codes and standards. We've been an active part of NFPA going back to my father. My father got involved in the model code process back in the 70s. So if you will, it's literally in our DNA. And we think it's important to, one, understand what's going on, but be an active leader in developing the code and standards. We have a huge research arm, and not only is it good for the industry and good for society to have good codes and standards, but one of the things that's unique to us, we have taken a real proactive advocacy role for our customers and really trying to represent, sure their interests are represented, that we're writing good code and standards, not only saves lives and property, but also makes sense for industry and the end user. And it's been a great collaboration for us for years. As you know, my partner's serving chairman of NFPA, and it's been a wonderful collaboration for us.
And exactly, and I think that partnerships is the key to success. If
Correct.
There is an openness, honesty, and transparency between two products, not only does it give you that brand awareness, but it also maintains that trust in the product and also the services you're providing to the end user.
One of the things we do with our customers too is we really talk about risk. Telgian is much more focused on risk than per se compliance. And when we did the research ourselves or sat in those committee meetings, it really allows us to communicate with our customers what this standard is, what we're trying to accomplish here, as just opposed to reading a book or something like that. So it's really given us a nice value add to our customers.
Exactly, and I think that when you look at the offering that comes from you, it does exactly what it says on the tin. You're delivering a service that has got credibility.
Correct.
Provided by experts within the field. So first and foremost, it's around life safety. It's putting life safety as a priority. And it's amazing how many times I speak to people now that see that life safety is becoming to slip down the priority list, where some companies are putting profits over life safety. We know that that's only going to be destined for failure, and we need to ensure that as influencers in the market, that we identify these people, ensure that they can't continue.
Correct. We've been fortunate that most of our customers really do put a premium on that. Certainly, you see different attitudes varied across different cultures, different societies across the world. But with we've been great with some great customers. And I've seen some of those challenges in other markets, and usually it's a process of education. I have never taken the approach to try and scare people to do the right thing. A lot of the industry does try and scare people, but I really want to come alongside a client or a customer and educate them and explain how their business could impact their customers, their associates, their employees. And if you do the right attitude and come across as, hey, I'm here to help you, I'm your advocate, you usually get much better results. And that's always been our MO as we approach the marketplace.
And I've always been an advocate when you talk about education, that if you tell somebody, they'll forget. If you show them, they'll remember. And if you involve them, they'll understand.
I remember I was dealing with a client in Mexico City years ago, and they were not putting proactively fire protection in their buildings. And we had some fire test data. I think tomorrow we might be talking to some of our associates about fire stations. I showed them a video of full-scale fire test in a warehouse. It was the CEO of the company. He turned to his entire leadership team and says, we're sprinkling everything from here on out. And in the market, it wasn't required. And it's just that idea of really showing people, and we have great libraries and resources that we can share with people to show them the actual impact. So it's been a great approach.
Fantastic. What I want to go on to now briefly is the other side of you, the other side of Telgian, and focus a little bit on Firefighter. Yeah. I know all about Firefighter. The vast majority of people know I've spent 30 years as a firefighter and now continue to live the dream in the industry. Yeah. It was a shame that we weren't able to travel to Boston for NFPA when you took Firefighter down there and showed the gathered audience how impressive it was. Tell us a little bit about Firefighter and why it was important for you to get involved.
Well, one, I love words. All right, I absolutely love the English language, even the American version of it. But I do love the language. One of my favorite words is serendipity. And we came across Firefighter completely by accident. Our quarter leadership meetings, we tried to do something fun, educational for our team, and it was our 35th anniversary. So we're talking about our legacy and history. So we went to the Mystic Seaport, which is a nautical museum here in the States, and the firefighter just happened to be there. And they found out where they were there, and they gave us a tour. And they fired up those diesel engines, and it was like, man time, rah, 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 diesel, rah, 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 rah. And we just got excited. We nerded out. They turned on all the water cannons. I mean, it was all in the whole harbor. People were coming from everywhere to see this thing. And just some really good people behind this cause, right? And I turned to Nita and said, hey, we got to help these guys. And just by chance, NFPA happened to be in Boston the next year. And I worked with Nita, and the idea was, hey, so Telgian underwrote the cost to get the boat up to Boston Harbor. And they got a lot of great national press and media, industry awareness. And so it's been a real fun project for us, right? And it's history. And the cool thing about the Firefighter, it's not a static display. It's still a functional piece of fire apparatus. I just think that's awesome. It was built, I want to say 1938. I can't exact, but it was built pre-war. The engines were actually prototypes that were used in World War II U.S. fleet submarines.
Wow. And
they're actually hybrid diesel electrics, believe that or not, right? Hybrid engine back in the 30s. Anyway, it's a great cause. And I'm a history buff, and they've had some great success. We still need support financially. We were just blessed with another large grant. We actually have an underwater waterline leak. We're going to be able to get that fixed. We're looking for a permanent home for it, but I think it's something the industry can get around, but it's a unique piece of American history. I'll say that. It's an American boat in New York. It served distinction in World War II, and it's just something I think everyone can feel good about. There's a lot of things going on in the world right now. We're arguing over our history and whose history. And kind of the one thing people still all agree about is they still love firemen and firefighters, right?
Exactly.
And no one's picked a fight with that group. But I just think it's a cool piece of history that we can all gather around and support.
Oh, so, without a doubt. And I think that if we let that go, we'll never get it back. And we've got to maintain that as part of our heritage.
Correct.
Even if it's just to show our children and grandchildren what firefighters were dealing with back in the day, what technology they were using, and what we're dealing with now.
I don't know if you know this, but my grandfather was a Detroit firefighter.
Wow.
And we were kind of a nice, upper middle class family, but he wanted to be a gangster before the war. Was a newsie for the Purple Gang. And anyway, they came back from World War I, and they tried to make him a cop, but that wasn't far enough away from the gang, so he ended up being a firefighter for the Detroit Fire Department. And he started off on horse-drawn carriage, you believe it or not.
Wow.
But he moved up because he learned to drive trucks in the U.S. Army, and he moved up and transitioned, became an engineer on one of the first gasoline, petrol-driven fire apparatus for the Detroit Fire Department. So I know a little about old equipment. So.
Well, I think that we've got plenty to talk about in a future issue of an episode of Duncan Meets Jim. We're going to do fly fishing, and we're going to do heritage of firefighting, and we may even look at prohibition and gangsters. But I've been Duncan White, International Fire Safety Journal. Jim, as always, my friend, it's a complete pleasure. Thank you very much.